Let's get into it. Sold Not For Sale podcast. Coach Colin here. We got Joe Rogan sitting down with a comedian. I believe his name is pronounced Sam Morril, and they are talking about Trump. Now, Joe Rogan is questioning the whole Trump situation, and I think he's trying his best not to lean towards it being orchestrated by Trump, because that is the dumbest theory that you could possibly have. What I'm going to be giving you is that clip with him talking about Trump and everything he thinks around that and the shooter and whatnot. And then I'm going to be giving you a little information dump. We're just going to be showing the actual whole assassination attempt. Then we're going to show some stuff that's going on with Kimberly, the head of the Secret Service. Senator Josh Hawley is talking about a briefing that he was a part of where she was there and her poor performance there. Then we're going to show you her getting confronted at the RNC. Then we're going to show you Senator Ron Johnson actually talking about her as well and the question he asks. Senator Josh Hawley, again, has some whistleblowers who are coming forward talking about the agents that were with Trump, actually most of them being Homeland Security and not Secret Service, which is a huge problem. You'll find out why. Then we got AOC talking absolute nonsense. Joy Reid is going to be trying to bring you a bit of a conspiracy theory. She's taking a stab at it. So she's going to try and bring up a little conspiracy she has about Trump. Then we have an actress or some Hollywood person talking some other nonsense as well about Trump's whole thing. And then we have Piers Morgan to end it off talking about what this means for Trump. This is just a big information dump. Not going to tell you what to think. We're just going to be showing you a whole bunch of information. But first, let's start with the Rogan clip. Let's go.
Like a comic book, you know? It's always so fucking creepy.
Well, the whole world is like basically some bizarre movie now. The Trump thing, the shooter, all the stuff that's coming out about the shooter now, the more you read about it, the more you're like, what is going
like
on?
a BlackRock thing too, right?
Yeah, he did a BlackRock commercial. They knew that there was a suspicious person 10 minutes before Trump went on stage. They still wouldn't let him go on stage. They saw him on the fucking roof, and they didn't engage. Yeah. They saw him on the roof with a rifle.
It's a bad Secret Service right there.
They wouldn't put Secret Service agents on the roof because they said there was a slope to the roof.
Right.
And it would be dangerous.
It's more dangerous if the ex-president gets shot. Bro, which he did.
They let him get off. The kid got off 3 shots. And apparently there was one that we saw that hit his ear, and you see the bullet, like the photographer got a bullet
I saw that.
flying by his head.
Yeah.
But apparently there's another one of a bullet going by his left side of his head. So it went by the right side of his head, hit his ear, went by the left side of his head as well. Because the guy got off 3 shots.
Yeah.
And he just missed Trump
and
every time.
There was a one shot of him like turning his head, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? It was that close?
Dude, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. And the fact that they had such poor security guarding him, like they did such a terrible job.
My uncle's convinced it's My uncle's like, there's no way this is real.
I don't think it's not real, but look, here's the deal. Okay, I'm not accusing anybody of anything. Just want to be real clear.
Yeah.
But they have organized assassinations before.
Sure.
And when they organize...
usually starts a war.
Assassinations, it looks just like that. And when they organize assassinations, one of the things they like to do is have some fucking loser kill the president, and then they kill the fucking loser, and that's a wrap. This kid kind of like stops all the leads.
Oh,
everything's like, where does he go? So they have his phone. They say they can't get into his phone. Bitch, I know you read my text messages.
Yeah,
so
why is it taking so long to break into this shit?
Phone? How can you not get in that kid's phone?
It's always shady, right? They always die instantly. Like Kennedy assassination too. Like a nightclub owner kills Lee Harvey Oswald. Yeah. I'm supposed to believe there's a nightclub owner with a heart of gold out there?
Runs right up and shoots him in front of cops.
Yeah. What is this, the end of Shaft? What the fuck is going on?
Shaft.
No, it's like, it's
Superfly.
ridiculous.
That was the end of Superfly.
The new Shaft ended like that too.
The end of Superfly. He tells him something stupid like that.
It's cinematic as fuck. It all feels like a movie.
Yeah, it seems like a bad movie from the 70s.
Yeah.
It's weird.
That's how every 70s movie ended, by the way. A guy just gets shot in the face.
Right, there's a lot of that.
Every movie, you're just like, it's like a guy gets shot in the face, and then the credits, and you're like, all right, I guess this is...
The guy on the roof is just bananas.
Yeah.
That roof was 150 yards away. And if you're a good shot with a rifle, hitting a human being at 150 yards is quite easy. I don't know if his rifle had a scope. I'm assuming it had a scope. Someone said he was using iron sights. Can you find out?
But he wasn't like set up in advance. He just went up there, right? I mean, that's how they...
He had a rangefinder. Okay, so the kid was walking around the whole perimeter of the area with a rangefinder, which is instantaneously, if you're Secret Service, you see someone with a rangefinder walking 150 yards from where the president is, you tackle that fucking guy. You don't let that guy get on a ladder.
Yeah, this is your Super Bowl. What the are you doing?
He brought a ladder. The guy didn't just bring a rifle. He got through there with a rifle and a ladder. I don't know what kind of rifle it is. I don't know if it's kind of rifle where you could disassemble and reassemble like an assassin, like screw it together. But whatever it is, all of it stinks. Every part of it stinks.
And every person who talks about him, it's like the classic incel, like never spoke, never. This was an old bit of mine. I was like, that should be the reason. That should be, if you want a gun, you have to be a good conversationalist. You better be chatty, because that's like every person who does these shootings things or assassinations. It's like they're the quiet, creepy fucking dude.
Yeah. It's very strange. The whole thing's very strange. There was also photos of him where he had long hair and wear lipstick and looked like a girl.
I think that was bullshit, though.
Yeah, I think that's bullshit too. But that's a problem. Like everything's bullshit now.
Yeah.
The commercials, the BlackRock commercial, and then there's some videos of him in high school talking about having a 10-inch. He looks like he's just having fun with his boys.
There's a video of him saying he's a 10-inch.
Yeah, but it's like he's joking around. You know, like I have a 10-inch. You know, like that kind of thing.
Weird dude.
He's just a weird kid.
Yeah.
But how did he get in the BlackRock commercial? What happened after that?
I don't know.
I mean, if I was the CIA, let's not even say CIA. Let's say if I was some shadowy intelligence agency that did these, undercover operations that are a little sketchy, I'd like find kids like that. That's your moneymaker. That's how you do it. If you got a plan, you want to do something, you get some guy that's basically got nothing going on in life, and then you mentor him, become friends with him. Maybe that guy's dad is an alcoholic who beats him. Maybe his mom is a fucking junkie. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe he's like his life is terrible, and you can provide mentorship. And you can provide, just camaraderie, something like, wow, I mean, I wish I was a secret agent, and then you tell this kid, hey, you can help America. We can work you into the program. You could be one of us.
So now you are saying conspiracy.
Listen.
You're entertaining it.
Conspiracies are real.
Sure.
They're real. I mean, whatever the fuck happened in Dallas, Texas in 1963, it's not what they tell you. Yeah. That's one thing 100% you're going to be sure. There is no objective journalism with no slant, not leaving anything out. Whatever happened with Lee Harvey Oswald and the
and Kennedy and having some beef with the CIA and some weird shit over maybe Bay of Pigs or something, right? Like they immediately...
How about Alan Dulles, who he fires?
Yeah.
He fires, and then he gets assassinated, and Alan Dulles is running the Warren Commission. He's a part of the Warren Commission.
It's shady. So much Kennedy shit over the years is so shady.
The shadiest.
Yeah.
The shadiest. He's the biggest indicator, the biggest piece of evidence that someone from somewhere organized together to kill that guy. It wasn't just Lee Harvey Oswald. Although I'm of the opinion that Lee Harvey Oswald was also part of it.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants it to be binary, right? They want it to be 1 or 0, yes or no. Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone, or he was just a patsy. But that guy clearly was also doing something with intelligence agencies, because he was able to go back and forth to Russia. He learned Russian. He married a Russian woman.
Yes.
Came back to America.
And he was also living very well when he was over there. He was spending money that, like, you're not making this on whatever per diem horseshit you're making over there. Like,
exactly.
He was, like, going to nightclubs and shit.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole story sucks.
Yeah.
The whole story seems like he was some sort of undercover operative.
Like he was getting paid out.
Yeah. And then I think that's how they do it. They make you think you're a part of something, and then they pin the whole thing on you. And then, I think there's probably multiple shooters. I think there's probably the grassy knoll thing seems super legitimate. Also, have you ever looked into how many people who are witnesses that wound up dying in mysterious manners?
Yeah.
Fucking crazy.
It is like, we make fun of Russia for that shit, but...
Listen, we do it too.
Of course.
We're just a better country and we're cooler.
For sure.
I'm pro-America. Let's get real.
Come on.
America all day.
All day. But like, if you read... I was reading a Putin book, and literally every chapter just ends with a guy, like the light going out in his hallway and getting shot in the face. And I'm like, this seems like a pretty f***ed up rise to power, you know?
Oh, Putin had the most f***ed up rise to power.
That woman who just wrote the book on him, Masha, what's her name,
Did she wind up missing?
She's, I think, either on trial or going to prison for saying something anti-military in Russia, which I'm like...
I'm sure she's fine. I'm sure she's okay, right? Who knows? Anyways, guys, let's get into the Trump shooting. It's funny, I'll just say this. This guy's like, oh, you are leaning towards conspiracy. Well, if a bunch of people get together and they try to assassinate a politician, well, they're conspiring together. He's saying it like conspiracies are fake. You notice that? He's like, you are leaning towards, like, when Joe starts talking about the CIA and this and that. How do you think this happens? Like, you think that kid just did this? I don't know. I hope nobody has been seeing my videos and thinking that I think that this kid just did this by himself. There's no way. That's just not the way it works. Not the way it works at all. Especially if you're part of Trump's detail. You know how polarizing he is. You know how rabid not just his own supporters are. I shouldn't even say rabid. His supporters are good-hearted Americans. The opposition is rabid. But you know what I mean. His fan base loves him. They're ready to do whatever for him. And then on top of that, you have the other side, the woke leftist type people. They want to see him go. They think he's Hitler. They've been brainwashed into thinking he is the worst thing, worse than Hitler. Robert De Niro was saying he's Mussolini and Hitler. It was crazy, the things that he was saying. So you would know that as part of his detail, and you should be on point, especially one of the snipers. I'd be like, we got to check every point 100 times before people are even done clapping that he's gotten to the stage, because we know who this guy is. You would think. But it's just funny he's saying conspiracy. And like, yeah, president gets assassinated or there's an attempt, there's a conspiracy that's just taking place. A bunch of people got together. Always. Even in the streets, and it's not always like this in the streets, but even in the streets, if something happens to someone, multiple people know about it. You know, just something as simple, any instance, multiple people know. Why wouldn't multiple people know about this situation? So, and another thing, he said right at the top that they knew for 10 minutes. You're going to find out after watching all this information that I have for you, it was actually more like an hour, which is very, very concerning. A lot of people are upset about that. Just wanted to show this to you, just in case you didn't see it. A lot of people have been seeing grainy versions. This is one of the best versions of this, the best quality that you will see out there. So check this out.
If you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
wild situation. At that point, I think they've realized, the crowd, that somebody has gotten hit. His name's Corey. He passed away. Condolences to his family. Wild situation. But also, I mean, at this point, that is the point where, whether you're left or right, you should be amazingly proud to be American. And I know not all the leaders are like that, not all the politicians are like that, but when one is, left or right, you should be so proud. Even if you're an immigrant and you came over illegally, you should be so proud to be on American soil. So proud. Oh, man, I love it. I mean, I don't love what happened, but I love the fact that he got up and he did that. Just absolutely incredible. But, yeah, so I don't know about you. I counted more than 3 shots. I don't know about everybody else. I counted at least 6, and I think the last one may have been the other sniper, but I'm not 100% sure. It all sounded like it came from the same type of rifle. So I'm not really sure there, and I don't know if we would be able to hear that other sniper, the sniper on Trump's side. I don't think we'd be able to hear his rifle. I'm not 100% sure. It's definitely more than three shots, like Rogan said. Definitely more than that. Now, more than 3 shots, definitely wasn't 10 minutes. We're going to learn more about that. And I'm going to be honest, from that footage, we'll get into it in a second, but yeah, there's something up with that whole situation. The way that they reacted was not proper, in my mind. Now, let's just go with this so you can hear a little bit about what Senator Hawley has to say about the head of the Secret Service.
All right, some interesting developments today. Kimberly Cheadle, the head of the U.S. Secret Service, did participate in a virtual briefing today. Senator Josh Hawley was one of the principal participants in that. Homeland Security Committee, Republican senator from Missouri. Senator, very good to have you.
Thank you.
How did it go?
But badly. I mean, let's be honest. The Secret Service is out there and the FBI now doing these secret calls, these behind-the-scenes briefings where, by the way, they don't really answer questions. They strictly limited the number of questions. The Secret Service director herself did not actually brief. She was present on the call, but didn't do hardly any briefing. When she did try to answer a question or two, it did not go well. She was not well prepared. This needs to be done in public. Bottom line, we need public hearings. We need a full and thorough investigation. Neil, what we know about this is that there were 62 minutes, 62, between the time that the Secret Service identified the shooter as a person of interest, somebody acting suspiciously, and the time he started firing shots at the president. I mean, what in the world is going on? We've got to find out.
I missed, of course, that briefing was yesterday. There are going to be many more to come. You want to hold the authorities accountable and find out what was behind their thinking. But to your point, Senator, she has indicated she's not stepping down. She intends to stay there, and unless the president and/or Alejandro Mayorkas, her boss at Homeland Security, pushes her out, she's there, right?
Yeah, then nobody, here's the pattern, Neil. Nobody in this administration is ever responsible, ever takes any responsibility for anything. Look at Afghanistan, 13 service members dead, hundreds if not thousands of civilians left behind to the enemy. And what did Joe Biden do? Nothing. Who was fired? Nobody. Now we've got a former president nearly assassinated. We have a good American shot to death at this rally, others in critical condition, and no one will take any responsibility. I mean, these people ought to be gone. Absolutely, the director ought to be gone. The whole top echelon ought to be gone. But I tell you what, we're going to get to the bottom of this and figure out what these people were doing. How did they allow this to happen? Why did they allow a good American to be killed? Why did they allow Trump to go on stage knowing they had a potential shooter? It's outrageous.
Separately, I did want to pick your brain, Senator, on Hunter Biden making some news. He's challenging the special counsel in his own tax case, says both of his cases should be thrown out. He cites Donald Trump's case dismissal over the special counsel appointment. What do you think of that?
Oh, I think it's absurd. Absolutely absurd. This guy has gotten more sweetheart deals than anybody in America. If he were not Joe Biden's son, he would be in prison as we speak. Remember, this DOJ tried to slip in a plea agreement, tried to slide it past the court that would basically absolve him of all of his criminal wrongdoing, and only because the judge asked questions in open court did they actually go to trial. I mean,
Just wanted to hear a little bit of that. Let me tell you something, guys. If I send you this picture right here, you see Hunter right there? If I send you that on a Friday, don't expect to hear from me until Monday. I'm about to have a wild weekend. If I just post that picture one day on YouTube or on Instagram, I'm about to have a wild weekend. Don't bother messaging me. But anyway, 62 minutes. 62 minutes, guys. Not 10 minutes like Rogan was thinking. They knew before Trump got on stage that this was a issue. They did not go and check out the issue, which means just walking 150 yards, driving whatever, going up on a ladder and being like, hey, bro, why are you on this roof right now? They didn't do that. They didn't do anything. And they're snipers. I don't know if the snipers didn't get permission or if they just didn't look. Or maybe the snipers didn't know exactly where he was. I don't know. But if anybody could have eyes on them, it would be the snipers, because Rogan was talking about not knowing if the actual assassin who took the shot, if he had a scope. Most definitely the snipers that were working for Trump on Trump's side of things, they definitely had high-powered scopes. They were definitely able to see this guy if they knew where to look. But you would assume, you just kind of assume that they're equipped and that they know exactly what to do. But I guess these are not good things to suggest, or not good things to think of. Let's see. He's just talking about the speech there. Let's move on. Now we have Senator Ron Johnson. He was in the same briefing as Senator Josh Hawley that you just saw. He's going to be talking about his experience of what he thinks, what questions need to be asked.
So you see the news about what went on with the almost where President Trump was assassinated. You've been in briefings. What have you been hearing?
Well, first of all, let me tell you, from my standpoint, the briefings were infuriating. Director Cheadle started out and she admitted there were mistakes and gaffes. Yeah, those mistakes and gaffes result in the death of an American hero who died protecting his family, 2 other Americans grievously wounded, and a former president's candidate almost assassinated. So I was hoping, because we were told that we were going to be able to ask questions. 4 senators got to ask questions. The first one was the best one, by Senator Cornyn, who asked, when did the Secret Service first become aware of this potential threat, this individual? And she said it was over an hour beforehand, as Congressman Green just talked about. I would have wanted to ask, the Secret Service snipers were able to take out this individual moments after he opened fire. How long were the sniper team aware of this individual? How long did they have him in their sights? Did they ask for permission? Was permission not granted for them to take out this threat before he opened fire? Those are the questions I want to ask. I've sent a letter yesterday demanding these agencies preserve all of their records. I've already got a long list of questions. At the very end of the briefing, they said, well, if you have additional questions, submit them to DHS and the FBI. Well, I've submitted them. I'll be waiting for answers. I won't be holding my breath.
Senator.
Very, very interesting stuff. And those are all good questions. That's exactly what I was leading up to, because if the snipers knew, the snipers would be the ones who could see him and be the ones that could take him out. So why wait? Again, a lot of people on the left at least, have this crazy thought process that Trump orchestrated this himself. And it's complete nonsense. When you actually start hearing things like this, you start to realize, oh, there's something going on. There's something going on, and a lot of people want to know what's going on. And this is actually the head of the Secret Service getting confronted at the RNC. Listen to this.
All of us were on the call today. Very disappointed. We were all in the queue trying to answer questions, and until we run out of questions, they hadn't. Every one of us had questions that we wanted to ask. We felt we didn't get any of the responses that were necessary from you. Very disappointing in your leadership. I have called for your resignation, and I'd rather you resign tonight or start answering our questions right now about the death threat to President Trump and allowing him to go on stage in Pennsylvania at a time when he'd already been alerted that there was somebody with a spotter. All these situations already identified an hour before, and you let him go on stage without the knowledge of him, the team on the ground, and you will put him within less than an inch of his life. So resignation or full explanation to us right now.
We are trying to get our questions out, and he never was running the phone. And not again. The director, who was nearly killed. You leave an hour out, you have a suspicious person, and at 5:51, according to the timeline of your deputy, you identified a potential threat. And then at 5:52, you told, or someone told, that the sniper that he was there. But can you give us an explanation? Why would anyone allow the president to go on stage when you know you've got a potential threat and you've got snipers that are trained on it? Why? I don't think that this is a part of it.
Well, you hung up on it. We're here. You cut off the meeting short. Well, we can find a place to go right now.
All right, we'll try again.
We'll leave with you then. No, we're going with you. We're going with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Afghanistan veteran.
Go ahead, sir.
I'm going to tell you the answer. The answer to us. The answer to us. This is exactly what we were doing today.
This was an assassination attempt. You owe
nothing.
Answers. You owe President Trump answers.
Go. To the people of the United States. You're the head of the Secret Service.
You owe answers.
You owe answers to the Senate, to the House, to the President, the past President, and you owe answers to the president. The President should have this to the protection for crying out loud. Just like that.
Wow, so that's the end of it. So if you couldn't hear all that, they were just saying things like they're very disappointing. They're asking for her resignation if she can't answer these questions. They wanted to know why in the briefing were Senator Hawley and Ron Johnson, the two people I just played before, why in that briefing did she not answer more questions and answer the questions that are really, really valuable information that they want to know. Just asking how all this happened. If you knew he was if you knew he had a threat an hour before, how was he allowed to go on stage? She responded. The only real thing she said was, "This isn't the proper forum to have this type of back and forth." And then she said, "This is not on us." The whole thing of Trump being allowed on stage, saying this is not on us, it's exactly on her. But I think I know the reason why she's saying it's not on her. And then, you heard the gentleman yelling, "You answer to us." And in reality, she actually answers to the American people. So, yeah, he kind of got it right. What is this? Is this just more of that? Is this more? Hold on a second. Here, let me just flip over here. This might be the same stuff. Just 20 seconds. Let me see.
Exactly what you were doing today.
This
on the call.
was an assassination attempt. You owe the people answers. You owe President Trump.
Yeah, this is just her running away. Wow, man. Wow. She got really confronted. I don't even know why she would show up. She has to know that there are going to be Republicans that are going to be very angry with her. Now, this is such small writing. I got to zoom in. I gotta zoom in. Let's see if I can zoom in. Zoom. It's not zooming at all. It's 500. Bro, I think I'm getting to the age where I need glasses. Oh, God. Like Rogan, I'm gonna have to put on reading glasses and be like, oh my gosh. I'm not giving in. Not giving in. I know for some of you guys are on TV screens and whatnot. Sure, you'll be able to read this. But here, I never put up the laptop so you guys could see it. But this is from the desk of Josh Hawley, I believe, the first senator that I showed you, the one that was talking first, the younger gentleman. He's just talking about how he has concerns. He says there's whistleblowers who have direct knowledge of the event, have approached his office. According to them, they have allegations that on the 13th, there was loose security for the event. For example, detection canines were not used to monitor entry and detect threats in the usual manner. Individuals without proper designation were able to access to the backstage areas. Department personnel did not appropriately police the security buffer around the podium and were also not stationed at regular intervals. Now, this is where it gets real concerning, right here. In addition, whistleblowers' allegations suggest the majority of the DHS officials were not, in fact, USSS, U.S. Secret Service agents, but instead drawn from the department's Homeland Security investigations. This is especially concerning given the fact that these agents were unfamiliar with proper protocols typically used at these type of events, according to the allegations. Now, this is Senator Josh Hawley. He is quite the straight shooter, but again, in some people's minds, politicians are all liars. We could always go down that train of thought, but from what I've seen of him, he is a pretty straight shooter, and if he's getting this type of stuff to his office, there is a lot of concern. Now, the fact that they were Homeland Security and that they could have been from Mayorkas's office says a lot. Mayorkas and Trump, for lack of a better term, don't get along all that well. So the fact that these people came from him rather than, I feel like I'm going to sneeze, rather than actually from the Secret Service is a huge issue. And the fact that nobody drew any attention to that, or Trump didn't say, hey, why is that happening? That's a huge problem. Tim Kennedy said in the tweet himself, and I said this the second that this happened, Trump needs security that is not connected to anyone, not given to you by Mayorkas, not given to you by this Kim lady who's actually focused on getting 30% female agents. That's her main focus right now. He needs to move away from that. You know what I mean? I'd even go as far, Trump's a billionaire. I'd go as far as Blackwater at this point. Privatized military types, boom, just have them. Like, something like that needs to happen. He needs to not have these people who are connected to any agencies, administrations. He needs his own security 100%, especially if they're allowing things like this to happen. The thing about guys from Blackwater, and I know some of you might feel like, Blackwater's kind of the same type of thing. The thing is that they get paid so much that they just handle themselves better. They're so concerned with not having their own lives ended, not messing up the mission, and having the best of the best around them, that they tend to just execute things way better. Now, of course, you could go any route you want when you're a billionaire, and I think Trump should try and figure out some of these points. Now, again, back to the whole thing of people thinking, hey, this was orchestrated by Trump. You have to understand, you still have people like this on the left saying things like she's about to say.
Is that everybody is terrified of a Trump presidency. And everybody wants to do everything and anything possible to prevent that from happening. And I think that regardless of your position on that, I think an overwhelming amount of people are motivated by that. Is that
she is, I don't know where she does these videos. I don't know how to find these as she's doing them, but she is so unhinged. I'm surprised no one has talked. People are always concerned about Trump and what Trump does on Twitter. What about her? She's in front of, I guess this is Instagram Live or something, or maybe TikTok you can go live. I have no idea. But the fact that she will say that just after a president had an attempt on his life, and say that about this, the same person, and say people will do anything and everything. This should tell those people who think this is orchestrated by Trump enough. That should kind of signal to you. There are so many people, and I've gone over this before, there are so many people. Does she have herself on a shirt? Is that a version of her as Superman? Get out of here. Get out of here. Oh my gosh. But the fact that she would say that, I've gone over how many people, organizations, agencies, party members Trump has pissed off, countries, world leaders. To think that he did this himself is completely ridiculous. He already has the race. He's already winning. Why do this? But anyway, Joy Reid has a conspiracy theory. Now, bear with her, folks. This is her. She's from MSNBC. This is her first conspiracy. She's trying to work it out. She's trying to work it out. Here you go.
We still don't know for sure whether Donald Trump was hit by a bullet, whether he was hit by glass fragments, whether he was hit by shrapnel. We don't have those details. We actually have no details from his physician, even though this man is still a Secret Service protected, and presidential candidate. We knew almost nothing. Why? Why don't we know that much? We know that 3 people were shot. 1 person, unfortunately, was killed at the rally. We don't know where they were sitting or standing relative to him. We don't know why, for 9 full seconds, Donald Trump was allowed to stand back up during an active shooter situation, even though they, at that point, had said the shooter was down. How would they have known if there were more shooters or not? Nobody knew. That there could have been 5 shooters for all they knew. Yet they allowed him to stand up in the middle of that, crisis and pose for a photo and fist pump the air so he could get the iconic photo. And then they allowed him to stand up again outside of the SUV instead of just shoving him into the SUV. That seems really unusual. What is the actual injury to Donald Trump's ear that's under that bandage? Shouldn't we know that by now? It's weird. And there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of curiosity about it, in the sort of media world, my profession. It's weird, right? Where are the FOIAs? Why isn't the New York Times, aggressively pursuing his medical records?
His medical records. Oh man, the edible is hitting her hard right now. She's just at home. She's just like, bro, what if there was more than one shooter? What if the bullet, has anybody ever came up with a theory where the bullet went one way and then another way? She's going over the magic bullet theory. She doesn't even realize it. She's never jumped down the JFK rabbit hole. She doesn't even realize. Oh, so fun. Listen to her. Get those medical records. What's under the bandage? Bandage gate. Ear gate. Oh, let's go, Joy. I hope she figures it out. She's just at home. Like, he stood up. He stood up for 9 seconds. Now, if you know anything, they say he's going to be number 47. Okay? But if you take the 4 and you put it to the 9, that's actually 13. He got shot at on the 13th, and there's 13 families that run the world. I'm telling you something's going on, dude. I'm telling you something's going on, dude. Good for her. Good for her. Finally. See, this is what it takes. It takes Trump woke up a lot of people in 2016, woke them up to politics and what's going on? How did this guy become president? What's happening right now? He woke up a lot of people, and now with his assassination attempt, he's waking up even more people. Look at MSNBC anchors are like, hold on, wait. Well, he stood up? Why was he able to stand up? Hold on. There's a bandage on his ear? Whoa, hold on. But there is some claims coming out that there could have been 2 shooters. That's what they're saying. I don't know if that's true. It could be true. but who would it be? Who else would have been there? How would they have evaded the sniper's sights? The second a shot goes off, unless they go at the same time, but the sniper didn't have a walkie-talkie on him or anything that we know of. So how would they know to shoot at the same time? If they were shooting at different times, the snipers would have been alerted of two shots coming from two areas. There was 2 snipers on the roof that actually were aimed at that gentleman. So if one was actually watching him, the other would have been able to scour and see where else somebody possibly could have been. That was the only rooftop that was really available. Another shooter may have had to be at another rooftop, maybe even further away, but there was none without it being ridiculously far away. And then that would be a super professional that'd be like a Green Beret, Tim Kennedy type sniper to take that kind of shot. But let's go back to the Blue Anon people. The left, they have their theories. This is Amanda Seales. She's one of those people who is slowly auditioning for her spot in The View. That's what type of lady this is, just so you know. Here's her theory on what happened with Trump.
Than a Tyler Perry production of Medea Run. That was more staged than a Tyler Perry production of Medea Runs for President. I lived in Harlem long enough to know that gunshots do not sound like making popcorn on the stove. Where'd the blood come from? So in theater, in movies, they have what's called blood pellets. They even, people use them in Halloween. It's basically a pellet of fake blood that's in your mouth, and when you crush it, the blood comes out. To be frank, Small Hands Trump would not respond by raising his fist in the air triumphantly were an actual attempt made on his life. This was, I believe, done to try to show his strength counter to Biden's fragility.
Show his strength counter to Biden's fragility. In order to do that, all you got to do is stand up. All you got to do is stand up and go, okay. And take 4 steps without someone assisting you. And that shows your strength counter to Biden's fragility. That's amazing. Blood pellets. That's what it was. Trump was talking. He had a blood pellet. He went, and then he went, he wiped it on his ear. That must have been what happened. 100%. Oh, I love these new conspiracy theorists. You're just getting here. You don't even know about Hollow Earth yet, girl. Wait till you hear about Hollow Earth. Oh, gosh. Oh, it's going to get you. Wait until I show you Biden's earlobes in 2014 and show you his earlobes today. Oh, I'm going to blow your mind, young lady. There's a whole bunch of things I get to show you. Oh, have you heard of Clonade? Oh, I'm going to show you some things. Absolutely ridiculous notions. Again, I just have to go over. This guy has upset every agency that is behind in the shadows. He upset Israel and the Ukraine because recently he said he would stop funding these wars. He put a stop to these wars. There's been a lot of footage, not a lot of footage, but there was a clip released of him saying he didn't think Bibi, as in Netanyahu, wanted to reach a deal, and he was just talking a little disparagingly about that leader. He's talked about defense contractors. He's talked about Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer said something wild about him on national television about how agencies have 6 ways from Sunday to get back at you. He has upset the Democratic Party. He has upset members of the Republican Party, world leaders. There is just countless people that this guy is upset. Then people are talking about an Iranian plot to have him assassinated. He's killed one of their generals just outright in the open, wasn't even secretive about it, let them know it was coming. I mean, this guy has upset some people. And then we're even hearing a story about how he handed a spokesperson for the Taliban a picture of the leader's house and said, if you touch any American, I'm going to kill you. This guy has upset some people in the world. Through his presidency, he did some stuff to upset some people. And everything he did was for the American people. Believe it or not. I know it's hard for some people to believe, but that does happen every once in a while. I was having this talk before. There are some good people in the government, you know, like Kate Porter. You know who Kate Porter is? You don't even know who she is. Go look her up. She's a single mom that drives a minivan, and she's a congresswoman. She has some big plans for American people, but she never gets talked about because she's just trying to do good. That's it. So there's a lot of good people out there. Couldn't name more than that, though. Let's just be honest here. All right, so we're going to end it off with Piers Morgan talking about what this means for Trump ever since this attempt happened on his life.
Another consequence of this, which is soaring support for Trump, both in the polls, but also just anecdotally, just so many people I know saying, you know what, given the state of Biden before this anyway, and his refusal to pull out of the race despite clearly being unfit for the office now, Trump's act of defiance in standing up and putting his arm up to the air and saying, fight, 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 has really resonated with Americans who saw in a moment of unbelievable horror a guy who showed real leadership, real defiance, a real strength of character, and real personal courage. That, to me, I've said this since it happened, in my estimation, has now propelled him back to the White House. I see no way, if he stays alive, and God forbid anyone else tries to copycat this, but if Trump is there on election day, he wins, doesn't he?
I think if Joe Biden somehow, some way was able to get the Supreme Court to amend the Constitution and allow a president to get a third term, neither a Bill Clinton or a Barack Obama in their prime could beat a Trump today.
Yeah.
Neither one of them. Neither a Barack Obama or Bill Clinton. However, that's assuming everything's going to be fair play moving forward. That's assuming it's going to be fair play, which we know it's not going to be fair play.
What can they do, Patrick?
This is
let's think about this logically, right? Trump was, completely buried politically 18 months ago. And then the left decided to weaponize the justice system against him in the most ridiculously over-the-top manner. And the first case they used is the Stormy Daniels payment case, which was such a pathetic, low-grade thing to drag a former president through a criminal court over. The conviction got him another $150 million in 10 days in fundraising, and absolutely nobody took it seriously whatsoever. And it had no damage to his reputation or his popularity whatsoever. So that all backfired. They've tried to take him off ballots in various states. That hasn't worked. We've had someone try to shoot him now. That hasn't worked either, thank God. But they've literally chucked everything that they can think of, both the Democrats, the liberals, lunatics. I mean, you put it all together, this has been one of the most concerted attempts to thwart somebody becoming president again I've ever seen anywhere in the world. And yet there he is, standing now as the clear favourite to go and win. I don't think there's anything the Democrats can now throw at him that will touch the sides. I really don't.
Damn right. Damn right. Well said. Well said, Pierce. That's exactly what I was thinking. Amazing man. Amazing man, going through a lot for the country. Never seen anything like it before, folks. Believe you me, there's a lot of people who have the idea that, the world is a stage in a lot of ways that it is, but there are also wild, crazy things that happen as well. You got to remember that while you're watching certain things. You are witnessing history. That happens from time to time throughout your lifetime. So anyways, guys, I just wanted to give you all that information. And just the last thing to what Pierce just mentioned. He mentioned how there was a certain party going after him so much. And then this happens. And then people are actually going, well, he did this to himself. It's so crazy. Well, his rhetoric is what did this. Well, his supporters and how they act is what did this. It's so ridiculous. I can't even begin to touch on how crazy it sounds. Could you imagine that you had somebody who was harassing you, somebody who was doing all these things to you constantly for years, saying things about you, and then something wild, terrible happens to you. Someone attempts something on you, And everybody goes, "Oh, I wonder who did that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure." I'd be like, bro, there's been people. You didn't just see? There's a young Spanish girl. She just said they'll do anything and everything to get rid of me. I know, but yeah, no, they wouldn't do that. Anyways, I don't know, really. Did you do it to yourself? Did you have a blood pack in your mouth? Absolutely ridiculous, guys. Anyways, just wanted to bring you that information. We're going on 50 minutes here. It's a little too long. Like, subscribe, turn on the notifications, helps the channel dramatically. And other than that, I'm out.